Hey, I'm Josh Wink, and this is my little studio in my little house in South Philadelphia, here in Pennsylvania, USA. Ovum started in 1994 with King Britt and myself on reasons of me wanting to release my own music on my own label. Kind of similar to how I went from a DJ to a producer. I wanted to make and play music rather than play my own music rather than just play everybody else's music. You know, I did it out of my bedroom, making the music and also putting out the records. So I started doing more production, and then King got frustrated because he was on the road so much of the time and he wanted to make music as well. So, you know, I asked him to be involved and he wanted to be involved, so we then spearheaded Ovum together. So Ovum started in 1994. King and I split up around 2 years ago, and Ovum is still run now independently above a record store in Philadelphia called 611 Records, very much how like the UK does it. There's a record store downstairs and above it is a record label. So we're still very kind of like punk rock mentality, you know, very independent. And Ovum basically is ovos, Latin for egg, which is a basis of life. And for us in the beginning it was life music. It was music that was everything. So now where we are, we just signed a production distribution deal and kind of like a partnership with System Recordings up in New York. And they kind of have the same feeling that we do. You know, it's a bunch of really hungry young people that are just in it for the right reasons. The Profound Sound series concept originally started in 1998, and I wanted to do my own mix CD. I've been fortunate to be asked to do a lot of CDs and with really, really big companies, and I wanted to do one for Ovum. So I came up with a bunch of songs. It was very difficult because so much cool music comes out, and how was I going to compile all these like really interesting different songs and choose 12 to 16 to put on this compilation? Well, I basically tried them out in the nightclubs, and then after I thought that they represented me well, which was a mixture between house and techno, and you know, abrasive to lush and deep, then the name actually came about. It was really the next thing of Profound and Sounds. It's kitschy, it's catchy, and a profound sound.
Bodies are given life in the midst of nothingness. Existing where there is nothing is the meaning of the phrase.
Lo and behold, 4 years later, Profound Sound Volume 2 happens to come out, and it just happens to be under Josh Wink again. Now, Profound Sounds Volume 2, what makes me an artist and a DJ, I need both of them. For me to be an artist and make dance music, electronic music, techno, house, I have to have my turntables as my tool, and I go out and I play in front of people and I get inspiration and I get my balance. So when I get in the studio, I'm not far away from what's key, what's apparent out on the dance floor. I think of making music out of music as a producer when I DJ, by EQ manipulation, by using effects units, by using delays, by using samplers, by using computers, anything I can get my hands on to make me do what I do to the next fullest level so that I can perform to my best ability, spontaneously, creatively, live in front of people. Now, what I did differently that will set this mix CD aside from most other mix CDs is after we licensed the tracks from the company with the setup that you see right here, because I actually did it all right here in this humble little studio, I took the tracks and I recorded them from my turntables to my mixer, and from my mixer into my soundboard, and my soundboard then into my Macintosh computer. I created a waveform, a digital file of this song, which was once on vinyl, and I dropped it into my Logic Audio eMagic software. And basically what I did was I created new versions of this song, a version that I would only have to play out. So without screwing around with any of the integrity of the original track, basically what I did was I created an alternate version. And I did that through post-production using Logic Audio. I would extend certain parts, loop certain parts, layer certain things, add effects over certain things. And after I got a song complete into the way I want it to sound, I burned it to CD. And then from the CD, I played it out. I DJ'd with it all across the country and the world. And I got an idea of what would work, what wouldn't work. And I would take all those edited, brand new Joshua Wink thought of versions. I would drop them into my PC computer, which is right here. And I would make audio wave digital file copies of these. Now, this is a program called Final Scratch. Basically what this does, this program allows you to use your computer as your digital file. It's like a record box. I have 1,028 songs in this computer right here. I was able to mimic my edited version of the song digitally. Instead of using a CD, I basically use this. And with a specially encoded record, I can control my audio digital file right here. This is a 100% digital copy. It's not an MP3, it's an audio wave file. And everything that you do to the record will mimic your MP3. So I can see the whole song laid out, up and top and bottom and everything. So I put everything in here, and I controlled it on 2 turntables. The whole process basically came of the flow of the record. How's it going to start? What song? And that just came over time of like trying it out at nightclubs, talking about it with people, with Matt, Craig, and Eric, and then just fleshing it out, trying it out. And so basically what we did then, or what I did, with a sampler and a built-in effects units, and I also had a foot pedal effects unit, and I had 2 CD players, and basically I would have these same versions that I burned into here also on CDs, along with vocal samples and snippets of the original tracks. I then compiled the compilation. I then took those versions and remixed it live as a feeling of how it feels to be in a nightclub. Dropping EQs, bringing it back in, playing around with the levels, trying to get the feeling of the nightclub, sampling things live on the go, and then, you know, just like that, just sampled it right live, and building it up. You know, everything was live and trying to feel. It's a really, really hard thing to make a club mix CD in a room with no people. Some people do it live. This wasn't done live, but it was done live in my studio. So I was here dancing around. I was like in my thong and, you know, working it and going crazy. So those original edited versions that I did earlier were then kind of remixed live on the fly with all these tools that I have right here, right now. And then once everything was redone from them, I took that and I recorded it to a DAT. Then I dropped it back in the computer and I just basically re-EQ'd everything and just did a fade in, a fade out. So that's the whole caliber of Profound Sounds for me, is telling a story. The future is to be able to do what I'm still doing, you know, and have it be self-sufficient and still balance making music and pushing the envelope with music and working with really talented other artists. I love the fact that I can travel to a place like Italy or France where English isn't, you know, the key language, but music can kind of bring us together. The future is also performing live. I want to get out there and perform my own music for once, live instead of just DJing. You know, I want to get to that next level. I think I want to just take like maybe a drum machine sampler and a computer with me and then try it. And also just working with new artists and pushing my own development and boundaries and beta testing and alpha testing, working with companies like I'm doing for gear development. You know, that's very exciting for me, technology and how we can use it as a tool. So I guess just future for me is just, you know, growing older and becoming more mature and traveling the world doing my artwork, which is something I only wish for anybody else that ever wants to get into this. It sounds a little weird, but it's the truth.
be who you want to be.